thank you for choosing to come along to this session. It's a very interesting subject, smart ways for publishers to go global. What I'm going to ask you to do is, if you have questions, which can be throughout the session and also at the end of the session, please do announce your name and your organisation, and please do stand up as well, because we're recording this session as well. And I will introduce each of the speakers before they come up to the podium, and then we'll group at the end for questions, but we will have questions after each session. So first of all, let me introduce myself. My name's Lorraine Ellery. I'm the Director of Business Development for HighWire. I've been with HighWire since March of this year, so I'm only 6 months working at HighWire, and I cover the UK and Europe and any territory outside of North America for HighWire. I started in the industry 15 years ago now, and I began in the industry working with EBSCO Publishing, so I've worked very closely with the library market in the UK and consortia, so I've done a lot of the intermediary role between many of you publishers here today and that market. I moved on to working with Sweats for, I think, about 11 or 12 years now, and my role there was very much about publisher relations, commercial relationships with publishers, and looking at active publisher representation. I also have been involved in providing analytical services, and I can see one of my ex-colleagues here that we worked together on some of those services that we offered to publishers. And I also did a lot of work in the Asia Pacific region. So these key areas are really important to the topics that the speakers today are going to be discussing. So this is a subject that's very close to my heart. So our session speakers today are Peter Richardson, John Sack and Sue Corbett, in that order. And we're hoping for an interactive session, particularly John's session, because he wants to engage with the audience. So you'll see some sheets of paper on your seats. Hopefully there's enough to go around. Please pass them around if there's none at the back maybe. And that's to capture some of your thoughts and ideas that John can take back and think about further. So first of all, again, thank you for being here, and I'd like to introduce you now to Peter Richardson, our first speaker of the day. Peter is probably very well known to most of you here. He's the Managing Director of the British Editorial Society of Bone and Joint Surgery since 2010. Previously, Peter worked for 13 years as Managing Director of the Royal Society of Medicine, and before then Peter was Publishing Director at Churchill Livingstone, which is now part of Elsevier. So Peter is an honorary treasurer of ALPS, having previously chaired the ALPS Training Committee, and an elected member of Council and Trustee of the RSM. And he has a regular speaker slot at ALPS. Well, he's had many sessions at ALPS where he's headed up the speaker slots and other seminars and publishing events. I'm sure you've all heard Peter before. So Peter, welcome you to the podium.